I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign.
Oh, God.
All right. Oh, hey. All right, guys. Hey, sorry. I was out there fighting the zombies, trying to channel my inner Leon. Welcome to Total Apex Media Podcast, everybody. I'm your host, Corey. Of course, as always, joining me, we've got Michelle, Molly, Andrew, and Brandon. Andrew, you were missed last week, buddy.
Yeah, I'm still a little sick, but I've been. I was able to play drums Sunday morning at 6 a.m. So once I did that, I was like, all right, I'm fine.
See, people, we don't constantly bury Andrew in the woods somewhere. He's fine.
No, he's not bitten by a zombie anywhere. We told you, Brandon, you owe me $15.
I guess I gotta pay up, I guess.
All right. Well, this week on the podcast, of course, we are honoring a legend. Matter of fact, two legends. We're also honoring another Woman of the Month for National Women's History Month. We're also talking K-pop Demon Hunter news. But first, we're gonna join Brandon and Andrew for some NCAA 16 preview with Total Apex Sports.
Love that new intro, by the way. Thanks for it. But yeah, before we talk about March Madness, we have some NFL news, with the off season kind of dying down, free agency. There's still good free agents, but it's not really going to move till the draft probably. But over the weekend, we had some huge extensions with JSN. I'm not sure what the final number is, but all I know is he basically set the market for now Ravens wide receiver Zay Flowers is probably going to look for a lot. So I don't know if, I hope it's not to that level because in my opinion, it's not worth it. But the more interesting extension is Travis Kelce because he got, 3 years, $50 million?
So basically with the Kelce deal, it's that 1 year deal that was reported a couple weeks ago. But they did something with void, not really void years, but they did something legality wise to make it void years, how he does it with the Eagles. It's $40 million essentially void years on the deal. And if he decides to play in 2027, that deal will be changed. Obviously, they're not going to pay him that extra $40 million. So that's basically legalities, to get the cap hit lower on Kelce's deal. The JSN, I just looked up the JSN for you real quick, Andrew. I think it's 4 years, $168.6 million. Making him the highest paid over Jamar Chase.
It's deserved. But in terms of the impact on the rest of the receiver market, that's gonna be quite the change. I misspelled Flacco, but he's back in Cincinnati.
As a backup quarterback. As a backup, yeah.
I had to add that real quick because now I have full confidence in drafting Jamar Chase in fantasy because at least Flacco can swing it because Jake Browning couldn't. He's in Tampa now.
Right.
But some other news, Cam Scatterboo released a public apology saying he basically said on another podcast that CTE and asthma doesn't exist, it's an excuse for something, which is kind of sad for a football player to say because this is there's so much scientific evidence to say it is it's a thing. Like, especially asthma. Asthma's like that. You're just born with it. I mean, like, I don't know. That was just crazy to say. I don't know if he was just saying it for like clicks or views or whatever, but
I mean that podcast that he was on was kind of, what's the word that I don't get in trouble with our company?
Like clickbaity. Like,
yes, that's the word. That's the perfect word.
Yeah, definitely not like our podcast. Our podcast
no, exactly. Not like ours.
Our podcast is superior in every way.
Yes.
Yes. And then for next week's league meeting, they have some rule proposals potentially for the 2026 season. There's like 5 of them. I'll read them off real quick. So one would be permitting the kicking team to declare an onside kick. I thought they already did that. Like, I thought it was like you had to be down in the game, and then only like after the second half you could do an onside kick.
Yeah. So I guess they're changing it again with the onside kick. So yeah, that's something that's interesting.
The second one would be eliminating the kicking team's incentive to intentionally kick the ball out of bounds when kicking off from the 50-yard line. So I guess what they're trying to do is like try to make the return game a thing instead of just booting it. They're trying to find some way to have all the kickoffs get returned. The third one is modifying the kickoff alignment requirement for the receiving team in the setup end zone. Again, these are like these are just like kind of loose rules they want to tweak. They're not really specific. The fourth one would be allowing league personnel to consult with on-field officials when considering disqualifications.
That one needs to be passed because we had too many situations in the league last year that could have been these disqualifications, but there weren't disqualifications, and was there an ejection last year, Andrew? Do you that off the top of your head that you can remember? Because there was a couple that could have been disqualifications that didn't get to that point.
Well, in the Super Bowl, I thought there
that one was for sure. So that one for sure. But I thought he was going to get ejected, and ended up not getting ejected for the Stephon Diggs stuff, right? Yeah, in that game.
Yeah, Molly, I am contaminated with March Madness. That's what I'm contaminated with.
Yes.
Because this is like the earliest I've watched it. It's been fun. And then the fifth one is for 1 year only allow the NFL officiating to correct. I don't know why it's just 1 year only to correct clear and obvious misses by on-field officials. That should be every week.
It should be every year. I don't know why it's like a 1 year thing. Like, I guess a test trial to make sure it works.
And then we have another retirement, which is the Bucs retirement of Avante David. Shout out Justin. He's my friend. But yeah, he was the Bucs are definitely gonna get, I feel like, a linebacker in the draft, like for sure.
Oh, they have to now.
Like that linebacker CJ Allen from Georgia. Yeah. Like, I feel like that's the ceiling pick for them. That was he had a great career. Pretty sure he was there with Tampa when they won the Super Bowl with Brady.
He was there his whole career, Andrew. Ever since he was drafted. So he was a Buck his whole career. Yeah,
that's what I thought Mike Evans was going to be, but I guess not. And then we have some fantasy name chaos. We were talking about it before the pod. The Falcons signed Brian Robinson Jr. But don't get it twisted. It's not. It's the same exact initials as Bijan Robinson. They're actual starters. So, when you go draft in the summer, just make sure you're clicking the right name and not looking at.
No, that's the thing. If you're doing the draft in the summer and you have the first, second, or third overall pick, and Bijan's still on the board, he'll probably be in your top.
Right. Oh no, I'm saying if you're like in the second, third round and you're like hammered or something, and you're like, why is Bijan Robinson still there? And then you just click the name, even if it's down the board.
Yeah.
I mean, he's going to get drafted. The backup is going to get drafted a little higher, like, on accident, I feel like.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. For Brian Robinson Jr. to be in Atlanta, though, the move itself is It's an interesting move. I guess they needed to replace Algier, who went to the Cardinals, I think, if I do believe.
Yep.
So they needed to replace the power back. So it's a good move for them getting the power back replacement in Brian Robinson Jr. But yeah, that's going to be weird jersey numbers and jersey sales and stuff like that. So
yeah, and this will be the last time I'm talking about Max Crosby, by the way.
Yeah.
But we got the rumored offer from the Cowboys that they did offer a first and their second, their second, and their defensive tackle Odighizuwa to the Raiders. That was a rule from last week. That was another. The 5 rules we just talked about, the rule change, they were brought up today for next week. So all of them are all involved in there'll be a discussion. But yeah, and then on Max Crosby's podcast, so he was saying how the Ravens did the owner and the coach didn't meet him. Well, Ravens beat reporters are saying that is not true at all. That they did meet. It wasn't a formal meeting. It was an informal, what's up, Max? What's going on? Something like that, probably with Winter and all that. But the funny thing is, Crosby talked about it again on his podcast, saying he talked about the travel, people, Raven fans saying he's lying about the travel, which I have no problem with, because he was saying after the 5-hour flight, he had to drive 2 hours to Baltimore. It was probably traffic that was causing it. So I don't discredit that, but he didn't talk at all about him meeting or not meeting the head coach in the beginning, So I don't know. I don't know what to say, but I'm kind of over it at this point. Hopefully, he can move on, and so do the Ravens. The one thing is, the other thing I want to talk about for the draft, the UTSA kicker.
Yes,
he might get drafted because he ran a 4.5 40-yard dash, which is cornerbacks, receivers.
Yeah,
he kicked a 70-yarder.
Yep.
He was 12 for 13 on field goals. I did not know of this guy. His name is Jaffer Murphy.
Yes.
Yeah, honestly, he looks like a sprinter. That's
dude. I hope the Eagles address kicker and give Elliott some competition this year, and I would not mind having him or the Florida kicker.
What this guy reminds me of, he's if Destroying made the NFL, kind of this guy that he can tackle, he's really fast, and he can kick. That would be insane. The other guy I saw that ESPN did an article on was the Hawaii kicker. He's from Japan, Kansai Matsuzawa.
Yes, he was really good for Hawaii last year. So.
Yeah, that's interesting. He apparently learned how to kick from YouTube, which has been a thing now.
Yeah.
So if hopefully he can make the NFL and do that, because you never know where these kickers are going to end up. That's why I'm always against drafting them, because I don't know, you're taking on the same risk factor. And then with the Vikings, they talked about D-Hop. With Kyler, they could be in reunion. Honestly, as a Ravens fan, I do want him back because they didn't use him at all last year, which never made sense to me. So I would want him back, but Minnesota probably not a bad option either. And then we had the I think you probably have more details on this, the flag football game. I saw a lot of clips of that, and the actual USA flag football team spanked the NFL players.
Yes.
So they could go do the Olympics. The NFL players don't have to do this.
No. I think from what I saw from the flag football stuff, obviously there was a lot of either Jalen Hurts praise or Jalen Hurts slander, because Eagles Twitter, you never know what's going to happen with that. So You had the Jalen Hurts, the Devontae Smith 3 touchdowns and highlights from that. But you also had where he got sacked by Logan Paul, his ball got deflected by Logan Paul for a pick. People criticizing Hurts for that, but I think like that's the thing. If you're making fun of a flag football game just because you hate the quarterback, you don't like the quarterback, you evaluating quarterback performance in the flag football game in March, you got priorities need to be straightened. But anyway, the U.S. flag football team definitely should be the representative for Team USA in the Olympics for sure. So moving.
Yeah, that leads to the final point with Odell had a sweet catch from we didn't even mention it, Tom Brady. He's still looking good out there. Like honestly, he could probably like the owner of a football franchise can probably play for like half the team. Like I'm not even gonna I don't know how long he would last, but I mean we saw Rivers play for like half a year. Like he's better than Rivers for sure. Like at least based on like his movement. Rivers was kind of a stick in the mud back there this past year. But do you really think OBJ could actually come back? Like I think it's just all.
I think he's just too old at this point to come back in actual NFL speed. Yeah.
The only thing is like if there's injuries to like the Giants receiver core, maybe they bring him in, like they fought like that would be the only thing. I feel like. But we can move on to basketball. There's not too much to talk about. I don't know if you saw Brandon. Like Moses Moody had a graphic.
Yes, really bad injury. Yes, torn patella tendon for Moody. He's out for the rest of the year. Obviously, with that torn patella, it was a really gruesome injury. Last night in that Warriors matchup. It just sucks to see that, for him and everything like that. He was having a good year.
Yeah. Do you think the Warriors could even make the play-in? Like, I mean, Curry's saying Curry will play, but that's only if they make it. Like, do you think?
Yeah. I think they can. I mean, the play-in, I think they're 8th right now. Are they in the 8-9 spot right now? So
they're outside the top 5 for sure. They're probably 7 or 8.
Yeah, they're in that play-in range. They'll make the play-in. I just don't see them not making the play-in, but they'll lose in the play-in. I think they're not good enough this year to make a run at it.
And then we had the Bucks waiving Cam Thomas, who had a good season. I thought he had a good few games when they picked him up. The Bucks are tanking. Like they're actually like they're done. And then. I just want to highlight the Raptors signing Fultz. That was like one of the last draft I actually watched for the NBA.
Yeah,
like it was the top pick, and like, do you think this has any longevity, or it's just a desperation move?
No, it's just 10-day contract for a guy that hasn't been the where he was drafted at. So. Gives him a chance for Toronto. I don't think it would be meaningful for Toronto. I think it's just maybe depth at this point for them to get through some of their injuries. So, in the play
the last two topics we could probably save for Friday when we talk more about March Madness. I
just want to shout out A-Cuff real quick because while we get into the Sweet 16 preview. Darius Acuff will have something to say in the Arkansas-Arizona game for sure. He's probably been the best player in this tournament. We'll get into the discussion on Friday of if he's an actual top 3 pick. I just wanted to say to start the Sweet 16 preview. Look out for Acuff on whenever they play Arizona this weekend because that's going to be an interesting matchup with him and Bradley and Burries of Arizona. So. We can move on to the next slide, Michelle. So getting into the Sweet 16 and second round stuff. I know, Andrew, you wanted to shout out. Speaking of A-Cup, you wanted to shout out that High Point Arkansas game.
Yeah, they were close. They had a run at it till like probably the last few minutes. If they did upset, that would probably be one of the bigger upsets like the last few years. It was a 12 and a 4.
Yeah. 12-4, but at the same time, that wasn't. It was a close one, but we actually did have a bigger upset in Iowa defeating Florida. One of the one seeds is already out, and the defending national champion is out in Florida. So that the way Florida handled the end of game sequence was horrible. I'll say that real quick. Horrible. You don't press in that situation. You do a half court trap to waste some time, then trap them at half court. Golden said, they're going to make them make the free throws, but you're up in that situation. You're up 2. What's the point? If he makes the free throws, you go into overtime. Maybe, and then you don't get a shot off at the end either. When you're down 1, you try to drive baseline to feed it in the post. I'm like, you got to get a mid-range jumper up in there or a 3 or something so you can get an offensive rebound. They just the end of game for Florida was mishandled. Props to Iowa. Flugaris, who made the winning shot. Props to him. His story is crazy. He almost got ejected earlier in that game too, but that game was crazy.
I want to shout out real quick the 2 other games from Saturday because we didn't get to it. Texas beating Gonzaga.
Yep.
And then there's one other one. Tennessee and Virginia. Tennessee winning 60 being 3.
Yeah, that hurt me. I was all in on Virginia making it a Final Four this year, but hey, Iowa State probably gonna make the Final Four now, or Michigan.
On the men's side, which game are you looking forward to Thursday, Friday?
Friday and Saturday, I would say Duke St. John's is probably the best game of the Sweet 16 for me. Because Duke has the potential, if Caleb Foster doesn't play, to lose to St. John's, which would be it would be crazy to have 2 1 seeds go down in the span of like a week. Michigan and the other East matchup with Michigan State and UConn. That's gonna be a phenomenal game too. So the East Sweet 16 side, it's gonna be phenomenal. Like I say, Arkansas, Arizona is another great one. The women's Sweet 16 got determined as well with shocking UVA. The UVA women's are the first 4 team to ever make the Sweet 16 as a 10 seed after a double overtime thriller in Iowa against the Hawkeyes. Great game. UVA team is scrappy, and they might make it interesting in Sweet 16 because of the momentum they got right now. But no one's beating UConn. If you saw that UConn Syracuse game, like no one's beating UConn. I'm sorry. Like if they're playing the way they played, UConn is cutting the necks down in Phoenix. It's a wrap. It's a wrap. So.
And then real quick, just shout out USC for the women. They have what is it? Jazzy. I forget her last name. But she's probably going to be the next big duo with her and Juju Watkins next year. Because I think she broke. She didn't break a record, but it was just she had 30 plus points the last playoff games, and she was kind of going wrong. She made the game winner the night before this past second round. But what games are you looking forward to for the women on Friday, Saturday?
So I'm looking forward to Kentucky, Texas. For me, I think Kentucky. I love Kenny Brooks. I was hyping up JMU's women's team all last week, but that was not me not loving what Kenny Brooks has done with that Kentucky program. I just believed in JMU because I have to believe in my alma mater. Right. It's also Kenny's alma mater too, so he would understand my viewpoint on that. But after what they did against West Virginia and pulling away with that win in West Virginia, now they got to go play the 1 seed in that regional in Fort Worth. I think that game's going to be an interesting game in their SEC rematch. I'm trying to think. I got to look at I would have to look at it. I think we can get into more on Friday.
Yeah.
But but UConn, I just wanted to see what UConn does because UConn was like, I watched that full game. Well, I watched most of that first half of UConn and Syracuse, and I was just so impressed with UConn. Like, it's just crazy. But
yeah, we gotta get a lot of we have a lot of content coming up on Friday with more March Madness. I've heard this round is like the best round.
Yes,
because you still have a lot of games and a lot of good teams out. So yeah, excited for that. But that's all. That's it for sports. So let's go into entertainment next, I think.
Yeah, thanks for the transition, Andrew. Give him the hat. Give him the hat.
Give him my hat. Where's the hat?
Andrew's the only person who has not earned that. The only person who has not earned that hat yet is Michelle.
I don't think Michelle will ever earn that.
Michelle has her own hat of cutting Corey off from what he's saying. She's got that.
Oh no, that's a crown. All right. All right. Well, this week we're saying goodbye to two absolute titans of television and film who left massive marks on pop culture in very different ways. We're also diving into the Wizarding World, looking at the highly anticipated HBO Harry Potter reboot, and discussing a very, very raw industry spotlight concerning one of the new Harry Potter cast members, and on casting and toxic fandom. All this and more on Total Apex Entertainment. All right. First, we all knew this was coming, and we all knew we had to talk about it.
Yeah.
The man, the myth, the legend.
Can I say something real quick? Can I say something?
Yeah.
I read someone's post saying, because they're doing a Clint Eastwood clip on Shorts. They're like, it's funny that Clint Eastwood outlived Chuck Norris.
It's crazy.
What?
Yeah, it's just wild that Clint Eastwood outlived Chuck Norris. I think Clint Eastwood at this point, I believe, is just like surviving on spite.
Spite and all sorts of madness. Actually, looking at our news break, which is something that I rarely do these days, but looking back at it, it's probably normally our news break. There's a lot of like one side or the other. This man literally bought together a bunch of people on it. Like if I sat here and read, like even someone said Chuck Norris doesn't go to heaven. Heaven comes down to get Chuck Norris. I made that one up myself yesterday. So post on there. Another person said Chuck Norris once threw a grenade and killed 50 people. Then it exploded.
The names are gold.
Yeah, and these are people on our comment sections, by the way. People that we kind of some we love, some we just keep our hands away from. Anyway.
Yeah.
All right, getting into it. You're starting today with some very heavy news. Like we said, legendary martial artist and pioneer and cultural icon Chuck Norris passed away this past week at the age of 86. Now, I'm assuming everybody in here is 80s, 90s, basically, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So he wasn't just an actor for a lot of us. He was a literal myth, as you guys could see. He fought his way into superstardom in explosive 80s action movies like Delta Force, Code of Silence, and the Missing in Action trilogy. But for an entire generation, he will always be Sergeant Cordell Walker. Cue the Walker music. No, we can't. We legally can't use it. Okay, that's fine.
No, we can't. Shame on you.
He karate chopped and kickboxed his way through 200 episodes and of Walker Texas Ranger, championing the code of the Old West and trademarking a roundhouse kick that television villains never ever saw coming. He was infamous and famous for that roundhouse kick. It had to happen in every episode.
Yeah. There's one thing everybody remembers it's his roundhouse kick. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Of course, who could forget his legendary showdown with Bruce Lee in 1972's classic, The Way of the Dragon?
Yep.
Staged in the Roman Colosseum, and it remains one of the greatest, most versatile martial arts fights ever captured on film. But beneath the tough warrior exterior and the endless internet jokes about his invincibility, Chuck Norris was a deeply devoted family man. The heartfelt reactions from his children this week were really pulled back the curtains on the man behind the myth. His family was actually pretty guarded about, you know, him and his life and everything, as opposed to a lot of celebrities.
Yeah. I was following the situation, and when when we found out about him being hospitalized on Thursday, apparently he had been hospitalized on Wednesday. We didn't know about it until Thursday. We learned of his passing on Friday, but he had passed on Thursday.
Yeah, and most people didn't hear it. There, I told somebody today that Chuck Norris passed, and he didn't even know.
Yes,
so
there will never be another Chuck Norris. I do agree, Nicholas.
Yes, there will never be another Chuck Norris. His daughter Danny Lee shared a beautiful tribute, calling him her protector and her safe person. She said, "He may have a warrior exterior, but his heart was full of love." His son Dakota echoed that statement, describing Norris as the man he looked up to his whole life. Dakota shared, "Honest to God, I don't think there was a single day that went by where you didn't say you loved me." It's a powerful reminder that while the world lost an action hero, the family lost a deeply loving father. R.I.P.
R.I.P. What's even sadder is that he literally just celebrated his 86th birthday. He had just turned 86 this year.
He was looking great too. He was looking great. But moving on from one loss to another, a whole nerd community just mourned. Horror. Not only did we lose Buffy, the reboot of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, we lost an integral and very important person to the actual Buffy the Vampire Slayer community. Nicholas Brandon. I feel like he doesn't get talked about enough because of his situation through life, but he was another loss this week. You know, of course, best known as Xander Harris on Buffy the Vampire Slayer. He passed away in his sleep. They're saying from natural causes at the age of 54. For 7 seasons, Nicholas brought Xander to life, completely shifting how the nerd archetype was like portrayed in America, you know, in American pop culture. Xander was deeply flawed, of course, fiercely loyal, sarcastic heart of the Scooby Gang. Except for that time he really threw shade at Angel after, you know, Angel lost his soul in season 3. Watch that last episode, you know what I'm saying? Sarah Michelle Gellar, of course, posted a deeply moving tribute recently. And it really hits home on how much of a tragedy losing him at 54 truly is. What many fans might not realize is that the immense physical pain Nicholas was pushing through in his final years. He was incredibly candid about his health struggles, specifically with his battle through congenital heart defect. Congenital, yeah, heart defect, and coda equina syndrome. Yep, you guys are hearing it right now behind the scenes. So basically, he was having heart issues, y'all.
Yeah.
Also, he was having some nerve issues as well. This led to multiple spinal surgeries, which, surgeries immense pain and he was partially paralyzed. In 2023, he shared on Instagram how emotionally and physically exhausted it was to juggle doctor's appointment, heart attacks, and insurance approvals while trapped in his home by 3 feet of snow.
Mm.
Yeah. But out of that physical trapping came a beautiful second act. Nicholas found a deep, consuming passion for painting. His art became one of his purest reflections of his sensitive, passionate soul. He poured one endlessly driven creativity onto the canvas, sharing his talent with friends, family, and fans. And then he also did one of the things that I admire him for, because I'm a huge karaoke guy and whatnot. Every time he would do a con, he would set up a whole big karaoke thing that everybody would, go to a bar, go there and do it. And actually, Sarah Michelle Gellar posted a video of him singing a Youngblood song, at karaoke and everything. And, Nicholas, over the years, you see people who you admire and idol and whatnot. But then when you really just get a second to look at him, it's like one of those things where it's just like, wow, that person has changed over the years completely. So, we're sending love out to his family, and this includes his identical twin brother Kelly. During this incredible difficult time, if you ever get a chance, check out the episode where both him and his brother play the same character after Xander gets split in half. I highly recommend it. So, rest in peace, Mr. Nicholas Brandon.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Anybody want to add anything to both Chuck and Nicholas?
I think you said everything well, because Nicholas had right after Buffalo, he had those rough years in the rough patches with drugs and alcohol and all that stuff, but like most young kind of stars go through. And like you highlighted there, like to see him grow out of that and be a better person by the end of it before he passed and everything like that is a good. I didn't know that until you reflected on that. I remembered all the troubles he had and everything like that, and then when you mentioned that stuff, it's good to see that people can grow and evolve and everything in their adult life and everything like that. So
yeah, he actually was on an episode of Dr. Phil.
Yeah,
that a lot of people didn't realize.
Yeah, I remember that episode.
Yeah, and it's just kind of like he dealt with the whole domestic abuse thing and whatnot, where he was and unfortunately that paints a bad light on you after that. But if people are willing to start forgiving other people after somebody learns their lesson and stuff like that, the world would be a lot better.
Yes, exactly. I agree with that.
But on a happier note, on a shiny note, and when you pull out your wand, don't pull out your wand on here. Stop it. We get our first look at Harry Potter. Can we play that music next?
No.
I want to, but
no. No music.
We get yelled at if we do. Let's not get yelled at again.
Yeah, whatever. He ain't watching. Anyway.
He always watches. He always
knows. All right. First, we got our first look today. we got our first look today at Harry Potter from the set, him approaching the Quidditch field. This is, of course, big because now this really kind of officially kicks off them starting to hype up the Harry Potter series for 2027. Mm-hmm. Of course, this is the image that not only HBO dropped, but the WB dropped as well. Of course, we see the actor Dominic I'm going to butcher his name, McLaughlin. I'm not. Yeah, our new Harry Potter.
I think
there you go.
McLaughlin?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, we'll go with that. I trust Molly more on that than. Well, he's our new Harry Potter. He's walking, and we see him walking out onto the pitch, in full Quidditch gear. He's rocking that classic red and gold Gryffindor cloak with his name and player number across it. Like, he's getting ready to go out there and kick some Slytherin, but we all know how it goes if you've ever seen the movie.
It looks like you're playing Hufflepuff in the scene.
They'll probably have a couple matches through it. Did you know actually each episode is almost I'm gonna say it's. I was looking at the numbers. It's from my understanding, I think it's almost 100 mil per episode.
Holy crap!
It needs to be honest.
What?
Yeah.
They need to have that budget.
Somebody can fact check me on that one, but I'm pretty sure that's what I saw.
I can do that.
Yeah, I'll continue though. The visual design is being, of course, yeah, that's fine. I welcomed it. The visual design is being spearheaded by Mira Lapierre-Schloop, who did the stunning work on Interview with the Vampire, and the TV show, of course, and you can already feel the rich texture and atmosphere she brings to the school. Of course, the cast they have assembled for this is absolutely stacked. Joining our Harry Potter is Alistair Scout as Ron Weasley, Arabella Staten as Hermione Granger, but of course, the adult cast, we also have John Lithgow as Albus Dumbledore, Janet McTeer as Minerva McGonagall, and Nick Frost as the lovable Rubius Hagrid. Of course, this whole series would not be anything without Severus Snape being played by, good transition, this gentleman.
Yeah.
I'm going to say... Yes.
Papa Esidu.
Yes, you just want me to say it, don't you? Papa Esidu. Or it kind of sounds like Papa, I see you. I'm sorry.
So Corey,
he just has faulted his entire lineage.
Yeah.
So the budget for this series is, with estimates suggesting a total budget potentially exceeding $4.2 billion across its decade-long 7-season run. Reports indicate that individual episodes could cost upwards of $75 million to $100 million. So you were right.
Yeah, in that area at least.
Nah.
Well,
I'm hoping he can. I'm hoping he can do justice to Severus Snape, because he's a fan. Severus Snape became a fan favorite amongst a lot of Potterheads. So.
Yeah, and that's one of those things that we will be kind of discussing, because there's some controversy. There's always been some controversy around this gentleman's casting as Severus Snape. And most of it is because, can anybody guess? Can anybody here guess because of why?
I think he has a lot less hair.
He doesn't have any hair.
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 Less hair.
I mean, and he's a little bit more fashionable than the original.
He's a lot younger.
I mean, yeah.
Maybe he's too young.
Yeah.
Oh no, guys! Everybody's so wrong here.
His nose is.
I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say it.
I'm not saying it.
Okay, it's okay. It's we all know why people are complaining about it. It's the whole reason why I always complain about it.
Is it because of his?
It's because of the fact that he likes to tan a lot. No, it's because he's black.
Yeah.
I did notice that.
Yeah. And I think that's the issue that a lot of people are stuck on right now. Of course, he's it's mentioned that he would be taking this role seriously, no pun intended. And the dark side, but of course, the dark side of internet fandom had reared its ugly head. So he's been subject to vile racist abuse and literal death threats. In a recent interview, he revealed that people have been messaging him things like "quit or I'll murder you."
Wow.
Yeah, it's absolutely unacceptable that an actor's doing, who's just doing his job. Don't matter if he's black, white. And then, like, if you look at, you're not going around telling the cast of SNL, UK, Japan, or anything that they quit or whatever because they're doing a version of Japanese, D in a box, or whatever,
It's like,
but he shared a statement. Saying that really cuts to the core of why representation matters. He talked about imagining himself at Hogwarts on a broomstick as a kid, and how the idea that a young person like him now sees themselves represented in the world, and motivates him to never be intimidated. He is taking on a massive 10-year commitment with this, and by the he'll be about 45 by the time the series wraps up. And he's surrendering to the journey because the story is underlining theme of love triumphing triumph over hate.
I'll just say this real quick, Corey. He's got a lot of pressure because, for me, Alan Rickman will always be Snape until proven otherwise. Because Rickman, that was probably my favorite Alan Rickman role ever, was as Severus. Just the way he played, especially throughout the whole series of those 7 films, and getting to when he up to his death in 7. I love that performance from Alan Rickman. I hope the kid does well. And obviously,
he's gonna have some really big shoes to fill. Problem is that us as a fan base are going to have to understand that he is not Alan Rickman.
Yeah, I understand that.
That's just going to be comparing. That's going to be an unfair comparison to him.
Oh, like I agree.
No,
I'm just saying it's going to be what I'm interested to see what his version of it's going to be.
Like I can't.
That's the thing, and it's not the first time actors have taken on other roles that have been infamous like that, or famous like that. I always like using the word infamous, but famous like that. For example, Jack Nicholson wasn't the original Joker, but he killed it. He killed it. Heath Ledger came and knocked it out the park as well. Now it's up there to the point where it's just like, who's better, Nicholson or Ledger and whatnot. Same thing with I'll even say this. Al Pacino was not the original Scarface.
Yeah,
we know that. Yeah, but he still came and knocked it out the park. And everything. There are still characters out there who haven't really knocked it out the park too much. Like, for example, all these Alex Crosses, but the current version of Cross right now is actually doing a pretty decent job. We even have duo, what's his name? Reachers.
Yep.
And Alan Richard. Is it Richardson? Richardson, yeah. He's knocking it out the park right now to me.
Yeah.
I think what people need to try to remember is that this is a fictional character.
Yeah.
And these people are actors.
Yes.
Right.
I mean, you could literally cast any human person to play Severus Snape if they could pull off the role, regardless of if they were Black or Asian or Latino or female.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, female Severus Snape.
I mean, there's a fandom for it, so I don't see why it should.
My whole thing is like, can they pull off like a similar performance?
Well, he must.
No, you don't.
He must be doing good because he's literally got cast. I don't want him to emulate Alan Rickman. Yeah. I want him to play Snape his own way, but I want him to basically go, he is the new Severus Snape.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's like he's never going to be Alan Rickman. Have the spirit. He's never going to be Alan Rickman.
Have the spirit of that character there. Mm-hmm. But don't play the same character.
As Rickman did.
Yeah, because they're not remaking the movies. They're doing it as a series, so it's going to be different.
Yeah.
The movies don't faithfully follow the books as I understand it. I've never read them.
Yeah.
So the series, one would hope that in a TV series with that longer format that you could follow the books a little more closely than you can in like a 2-hour piece.
So the thing is, my fault, Corey. Go ahead.
From my understanding is that they are going to be following the books a lot closely, but adding some stuff here and there. Like we're going to actually see what Nicholas Flamel looks like. We saw him in Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Him, but we never saw the meetup between him and Dumbledore. Actually, so
no. My thing is like there's only one thing I'm curious about when it comes to our new Severus Snape actor, Papa, and he.
Did we lose?
Did we lose her?
Molly.
Yeah, we lost her.
I was going to say. Well,
we heard her sigh.
There's the sigh. I heard it.
Okay.
There you are.
There I am.
Technology,
am I right? No, I'm gonna have to. I think there's something wrong with my C drive or something. Like one of my drivers is messing up, so I've got to fix it. But I want to see what they're gonna do about his hair because Snape was described in the books of having like stringy, oily, like nasty long hair. So that's like one of the things I'm curious about. I want to see how they're gonna like pull that off if they follow like character design to a T. Yeah. So that's what I'm more curious about than anything else.
I'm sure they're gonna grow he's grew his hair out. I'm sure they're gonna add something to it. Like there's gonna be a new Snape look every year for the show that I'm gonna say my community is gonna follow. I'm gonna crowdfund him to wear a Jerry curl 1 year. So
yeah.
All right, enough of that, guys, though. If you guys want more entertainment love, head over to TotalApexEntertainment.com. Okay? Oh. All right. Now, it's time to get your controller and hit that cheat code because we got Molly with gaming, hopefully.
Well, let's see if I can do this before my computer likes to cut out on me again. Like okay, so I have been slated for my contribution to the Women's History Month. As it is the last week, I am the last person to say it, and I am going to be talking about.
Did we lose her?
We lost her again.
No.
Did we lose her?
She was gonna say it.
Give her a minute.
Give me a
There's the sigh.
Okay, can you hear me? Now here's a question of whether or not I can share the dang image. Okay, so I'm gonna take y'all back to 1964. Okay.
Ooh.
I'm taking it way back. All right, this is the time period of the Civil Rights Act that got signed into being by LBJ, Lyndon B. Johnson. MLK has won the Nobel Peace Prize. However, what would y'all say if I told you that this was also the year that the first video game
The first video game was what?
Oh no, Molly, no. when she comes back, tell her to speed up. I have to go with like I did last week.
Oh no! Wait, we gotta hear that sigh.
Let's give her a minute.
In the meanwhile, you guys head over to TotalApexSports.com and TotalApexEntertainment.com for more info and special stuff.
Oh, I do have a breaking news sports thing while we have Miss Molly's technical. Elijah Moore just signed with Philadelphia Eagles about a little bit ago, and Hubert Davis is out as North Carolina head coach. So, hopefully.
Okay. Well, until Molly gets back,
totally gone.
Yeah, until Molly gets back. For now, let's live for a living with Michelle. A living.
Okay, so I know we put in there that we have K-pop Demon Hunter news, but probably everybody already knows that there's going to be a sequel movie. Mm-hmm. This is a little more, it's coming sooner. K-pop Demon Hunters has a collab with McDonald's. So McDonald's has lately been doing these adult meals. These are not Happy Meals. These are going to be meals for grown-ups. There's going to be a Saja Boys meal and one for Huntrix. The Saja Boys will be a breakfast meal, and Huntrix will be a lunch and dinner meal. So, and the cool thing that's coming with them, there won't be a toy, although I was kind of sad. I want a freaking toy. But we're going to be getting these cool collector cards. The posts on X don't show the cards in detail. We just had these blurry images, but we do have more details for you on our website. Let me go ahead and bring it up because I want to talk about what's going to be in these meals. Because
is this like the Travis Scott and the Nicki Minaj collabs like that happened with McDonald's? Like the last.
I think so.
This is like when Minecraft came out. Minecraft, they teamed up with McDonald's and they did adult Happy Meals.
Yeah.
And you get a little toy.
And the Grinch stuff.
Yeah, so the Huntrix meal is the one that I'm excited about because who cares about Saja Boys? So it's gonna include a 10-piece.
I was cheering for the Saja Boys.
Okay. A 10-piece chicken McNuggets, a medium soft drink. I'm gonna butcher this word. Ramyun McShaker fries. Ramyun. See, I knew I was going to say it wrong. Thank you, Molly. These come with soy, garlic, sesame, chili seasoning, which is inspired by their favorite snack, and two sauces, Hunter sauce, which is sweet chili, and Demon sauce, which is a spicy purple mustard. I am so happy that this is a chicken McNugget meal. Molly knows why I'm so happy. I don't eat beef. So if it was Michelle a burger, I would literally cry.
Michelle is what we like to call a polyotarian.
Yes.
She only eats chicken and birds.
I don't eat the mammals. So when I saw that it was chicken nuggets, I near lost my mind because I'm like, I love K-pop Demon Hunters. I cheer every time the movie gets some kind of award. And this is just, I'm going to be eating at McDonald's a lot. Okay.
I mean, technically, if it wasn't burger, you could have just got it, eaten the fries, and then given it to your friend that you help out,
or to a homeless person.
Yeah, I could like donate the burgers. I don't know, but anyways, just give it to a random person. Do you want this?
Where's the toy?
No, mine.
Then, if you want to do breakfast, the Saja Boys meal will be a spicy Saja egg McMuffin, which features a peppery Saja sauce and hash browns and a small soft drink because soda pop.
Feel my soda pop, my little soda
Yes.
pop.
But even though I've dropped all this wonderful information, you should still head over to totalapexentertainment.com, our lifestyles page, for this wonderful feature article. All right, so that's that. Now I do have another piece of KPop Demon Hunter news. So Mattel has the license for the dolls for KPop Demon Hunters. I have already paid for a very expensive set of the Huntrix girls, which is not coming until October. It was a pre-order, and I'm crazy. But there are also Playline dolls coming out. There's going to be singing dolls. There's going to be dolls in different costumes. If you go to Mattel's website right now, and for some reason my URL there is not showing correctly.
It's white on white.
Well, it was supposed to be. It did have a black background before I put it on here. So it's actually the Mattel Creations website, and then their forums. So that the first part of that URL is community.creations.mattel.com. And if you go there, there is a post where you can vote to decide which of these two dolls they are going to make. It is either going to be Demon Genu or Sleeping Bag Mira. Molly, which one did I vote for?
Oh man.
Oh, there we go.
Y'all lost me again.
Oh, you're back now.
Sleeping Bag Mira.
Yes, because Sleeping Bag Mira. She's just so cool. So yeah, I would totally buy either one though, because I'm crazy like that. But yeah, so check this out on Mattel Creations website, and you'll be able to vote for your favorite of the two dolls. But yes, so many toys and stuff. I think they're coming out with Uno cards. They're doing all kinds of stuff for KPop Demon Hunters.
I'm sure we'll get a video game at some point.
I'm sure there will be. I think there's probably one in the works already.
Yeah.
And then what would Lifestyles be without a recall?
Yay! Recall. I
accidentally spoiled it, Michelle. I'm sorry. My computer.
Okay. No worries. It's quite all right. So this week we just have one for you. Which is actually kind of good news. I mean, there were other recalls, but they just weren't that interesting.
No more.
So this one is for White Oak Pastures ground beef. Now this is only affecting a very small part of the country. This was distributed through Mom's Organic Markets in Washington, D.C., Massachusetts, Maryland, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and Virginia.
Oh, God.
Oh, God. So if you shop at Mom's Organic Markets, you might have this in your freezer or refrigerator. It was produced on February 26th, so I would hope that you've frozen it if you still have it. It is not technically an actual recall. It's an alert because the affected product is not on the shelf anymore. It was just a certain, part of the product. Anyways, the reason it's being recalled is because there might be metal in there.
Metal again, I see.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Metal in your ground beef. So,
that way it cooks
that's not the type of iron.
Yeah, you want that kind of iron, and I don't know if it's iron. They weren't specific.
It's probably the grinder.
We have all the details there, and I did put the URL, and I swear it had a black background. I don't know what happened. totalapexentertainment.com/lifestyles. And in our food and drink news is where you will find all our food recalls. So yeah, that's what I've got for this week.
Sweet.
All right, let's try this again.
Okay, first and foremost,
yeah.
Can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
This time we can hear you.
Wait, what?
Corey, you're evil.
Please don't do that to me. I'm already about to cry, my dude. I'm already about to cry.
All right, back to gaming with Molly.
Okay, so before anything else, I'm taking y'all back to 1964, Civil Rights Act signed in by LBJ, MLK winning the Nobel Peace Prize. Okay, what if I told you that Pong was not the very first video game that came into existence?
What?
That goes my mythology of video games. What are you talking about?
The very first video game was completed in 1964. It was called the Sumerian game. It was one of the very first text-based narrative strategy games. All right. So, and it was written by a one Mabel Addis. I have to pause on her married name because it looks weird. But Mergat, I think that's how you pronounce it. And she was the first ever video game writer in existence. She wrote this game, and the fact that she's a woman is kind of just like a bonus, but she was the first ever video game writer, like ever. And she was working with a William McKay, who was the programmer of the game. And this was one of the first games that was centered around a whole narrative where you were playing as you're playing as a king in a Sumerian country in Mesopotamia. And if you look into the top left of the screen, that's basically how the game is. You would type out where you wanted to go, and the computer would spit it out like the answers depending on how it was programmed for your choices. Kind of like what we do now, but it's a little bit more advanced. But this was for the IBM 7090, and if y'all are curious about what that looks like, it's over there on the other corner. That's what the IBM 7090 looks like.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm assuming that's what it looks like.
How can I put a cheat code into it?
It's like a typewriter.
Yeah, it has. But yeah, it was a large piece of technology. This was a single-player game, like I said, early text-based strategy single-player game. And a lot of games that we all know and love derive their origins from this game itself, like the Oregon Trail. All that stuff. So, yeah, Pong was not the first one, but she was born. Miss Mabel Addis was born in Mountain Vernon, New York, in 1912. She was actually a fourth grade teacher at the time she was requested to help out with this project. And she did her higher education at Barnard College and Columbia University. So she was a very insanely intelligent woman. She sadly passed away in 2004 at the age of 92.
That's a big bucket of wind.
Yeah, and I would love to talk more about this, but like I said, but she was the first ever. Like I said, she was the first ever game writer, first ever female level designer. Everything that we see from the text was created by her because she was an English teacher. She knew how to write, all that jazz. So if it wasn't for her helping out with this, there's a good chance that narrative gameplay would not be where it is today.
Yeah.
So kudos to Miss Mabel. She is an icon and a legend, and the fact that I did not know about this makes me sad. So that is my contribution. What do y'all think? What's even worse is that it was more of a boys' club for gaming back then than it is now. And the fact that she made her mark at that time just makes her even more legendary. So,
right.
Yeah. But that's all I got. 8 years before Pong, beat you dubs. So
yeah, I think it's pretty incredible to know that that a woman was at the start of video gaming, especially when today it's so common still for some people to think that, you know, that females don't belong in video gaming. And
so if any of you men out there want to say something about it, think about that.
Yeah, you men.
I could take you. Not really.
But we just all know that I'm the champion here for Mario Kart. Anyway.
But that's all I have, especially since my computer wants to be a little brat today. So thank you for your time and patience for my technical issues. Back to you, Corey.
Patience.
Thank you, Molly. Real quick, I want to touch on this real quick before we shut down. This is kind of just breaking news. So we have no graphic for this at all. But apparently OpenAI is going to discontinue the Sora app, and Disney has backed out of its deal with OpenAI after it was announced that they planned on to discontinue Sora.
Aww. Boo. Wait.
Considering AI is in a lot of hot water in the gaming industry, I'm pretty sure the gaming industry is not that too tore up about it.
No, they're probably celebrating about that.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Well, everybody, that is it for this week's show. You guys don't forget to head over to our websites, totalapexentertainment.com and totalapexsports.com. And don't forget to head over to the Herald, right? Our Herald site.
Total Apex Herald.
It's Herald. There we go.
Don't forget about that.
For all the news and whatnot. I swear one day we'll have a Herald person on here.
You gotta catch one first. They're really sneaky and really slippery. You gotta catch one.
They're slippery. It's like greased up deaf guy.
They're slim.
We gotta figure out what snacks they
like. One of the managers is doing gaming streams. I saw the other day.
That's true. She is.
That
we
is
can
true.
get her on.
Yes.
She played a teacher game.
A very bad teacher game, and she was a former teacher, so we tortured her with that game.
That teacher simulator was terrible.
Yes, it was.
Yeah, which is a good segue to guys tune into our other podcast, the gaming podcast, the anime podcast, which I swear we'll do at some point again soon.
The wrestling,
and then
on Thursday.
Also wrestling on Thursday, sports on Friday, and then what is it? Sunday's like a wild card. Is that what's going on now?
Sunday is going to be the future baseball podcast with Brandon Ellis and one of our other manager/writers, Chris Brayton.
Lord, and then whenever I get time, maybe entertainment will have its own podcast. But right now, good grief. All right, but for guys, don't forget to hit that like button with the thumbs up. That one. Also, the subscribe button. Leave a comment and let us know what you guys want us. If you guys want us to do like a casual episode, let us know. We are up for it. We haven't done one of those in a long time.
Yep.
What?
A long time. We can do a Q&A. We can do another one. We probably won't do another anime thing. We all turned out to be key. Well, actually, we might. I don't know, because we didn't have Brandon there last time. Without Brandon, we're Kiki's delivery service.
True. This is true. If we get Brandon, we're probably going to get Evangelion, and I don't want it.
Or Sinji. All right, everybody. Thank you for watching the show tonight. Have a week.
Bye.
Bye.
All right.